Hello, everyone, and welcome to our LGBTQIA plus friendly stream. Today we have the rainbow behind us. Ah, funny stuff, right? Funny stuff. Star Helix, great to have you here. DC, also great to have you here. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic and have had a nice weekend and are ready to start a brand new week. I sure am. This week is pretty off to a pretty weird start, I would say. But yeah, I hope that your week is starting off good. If Sunday is your first day of the week, I have my rat tea here. I got my rats here. So cute. And then we have our LGBTQIA plus friendly background. Yes, that's what we're talking about today. This stuff back there. So, anyway, see if I can take a sip of my tea today. I don't know. Not yet, but soon. So yeah, this past week has been pretty crazy, and this upcoming week I think will also be pretty interesting and strange as well. A lot of I don't know, there's like a lot of weird scheduling things going on this week for me that are a bit of a problem. A lot of changes to a schedule, very, very suddenly and very, very weird even. Like several things have been changed or like back to back, and it's like doesn't make sense. Princess Maggot, great to have you here as well. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Let's see, Star Helix says, I'm doing tip-top. The weather is still forgotten how not to shine. Yeah, you know, the weather, wish it would get warmer already. I really do. I wish for it to get warmer. I'm waiting for the warmth. I really am. Granny, great to have you here. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Let's see, Princess Maggot, bless ye. I hope I made it to another one. Awesome. Great to have you here. Let's say Heathen Granny, hi peeps. Hope you're all well. I'm good. Awesome. Great to hear. Oh no, your profile picture is no longer Pac-Man. It's no longer Pac-Man. It was like nice and friendly when it was nice and Pac-Man-y, you know, but now it's back to the manhunt guy. Kind of evil looking. But hey, you know. It is what it is, I suppose. Too warm. Mice. Wonder what the mice will contribute to today's discussion. Yeah, this will be a controversial one for sure. So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on all of this when we dive into the topic. Say, hey Granny, hey Maggot. I like the caterpillar. I used to love caterpillars when I was a kid. Yeah. I used to keep them, try to see them build the cocoon, go inside of it, but they never hatched into a butterfly. They never hatched into a butterfly, which is a shame. Oh well, it is what it is, you know? They never hatched, unfortunately. Oh well, oh well. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Let's see. Princess Maggot says, this subject is such an important one. I have this deep anxiety in the pit of my stomach over it. If you love someone or a part of the community yourself, everything feels heavy and scary as dookie. Yeah, we're gonna dive into this and some of the problems. And you know, I always approach it from a very calm perspective. I try to see both sides of this, and you know, the way that I'm going to approach it here is basically, what is the truth? What is the problems? And what can you ultimately do that is of your best interest? Because there are going to be certainly some problems. So we have to be aware of what those problems are for sure. Okay. Okay. That game cover freaked me out as a kid. Yeah, it is. It is kind of scary, isn't it? Christopher, great to have you here. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Okay, let's see. I've been protesting. Ah, I see, Heathen. I see. I see that acute caterpillar. Yeah, the caterpillars were trolling, right? They just build their cocoon. They build their cocoon, but then they never use it. They never transform into a beautiful butterfly. I even had one of those saddleback caterpillars. I think that's what it's called. Let me look. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one that I had. This sucker. Let me show you this one here. This thing is poisonous. And somehow I had it. I found it. And it transforms into the most hideous moth imaginable. There it is. There we go. Okay. There it is. I found this thing when I was younger. Yet it never hatched into that thing doesn't hatch into a butterfly. It hatches into a moth. That thing hatches into a moth. So let me find the picture of the moth, because yeah, here it is. Here it is. This thing is hideous. It transforms into this. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So yeah. Anyway, it was just a shame because the caterpillar looks so beautiful. But it's poisonous. You can't touch it or anything. But then, you know. Yeah. Ryan, great to have you here. How are you doing today, Ryan? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Let's say I haven't been paying attention to LGBT topics since I was paying attention to something that is urgent. Urgent, okay. Yeah, urgency. Urgency. What is the urgency? Okay, let's say looks like it's wearing an NFL jacket. NFL jacket, like one of those giant Resident Evil moths. Yeah, that is what it transformed into, basically. Yes, it's pretty nasty looking, isn't it? It really is pretty nasty looking. Oh man, I tell you. Let's see. The more interesting and intricate the patterns, the more dangerous they are. It's nature's rule. The more you want to touch, the more you should stay away. Indeed, indeed, indeed. See, I'm doing well. I was supposed to have a guest spot today, but the host had to cancel. Boy, he canceled because he got a whiff of my feet, and then he passed out because he, like, loved them. DJ. Boy, you don't know anything about the situation, so you can take it easy, boys. You can take it easy. Really? Yes, boy, really? Okay. How cute. How cute. Okay, so why don't we start diving into our topic now? So my question for you is, do you think LGBT people are safe in the United States? Curious to know what your thoughts are, and if you say no, or even if you say yes, what is your reasoning behind this? I'm curious to know. Curious to know the reasoning. We are very LGBT friendly today, as you can see. Very LGBT QIA plus friendly. Anyway, let's see. Leaves more time for convos with the wise cow. No one is going to get that reference, except for me. I get the reference of the wise cow very easily. The wise cow knows all, it sees all, it understands all. The wise cow is amazing and all-knowing. Isn't that right, DJ? Boys, they can't really see you because of how you're positioned right now. But it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. Okay. So I asked if you think LGBT people are, if they are safe in the United States. Now, if we compare this to other countries, I think you will find that the United States is one that is more lenient with LGBT rules and laws. Even if things seem like they could be getting worse in some situations, they still tend to be better than other countries that perhaps there aren't any anti-discrimination laws, or there are not, you know, same-sex marriage even. Like, there aren't many countries that have same-sex marriage. So if you think about that. So there are more countries that do not have same-sex marriage than there do that are. So I'm going to look it up. So, according to this, let's see if I can get a full list. Yeah, so it all depends, like, just how things have gone over the years. Yeah, I don't know. This particular one is kind of, I don't. Oh, it's like the different colors as to when it happened, I think. I don't know. Okay, here it is. So I would just show you the map. Let's see if I can bring up the map here. Because this is interesting to look at. So it's about half of the world, it seems. If we take a look at this image here. So, as you can see, pretty much the entire Western world is, you know, same-sex marriage. But the whole Eastern and Middle Eastern is basically no. Except for like a few places like in Europe, and then is that South Africa at the bottom? So, yeah, there isn't much. And then Australia. Australia is like the one that's like rogue. And New Zealand, I think, is that New Zealand to the right of Australia? I think so. So yeah, if we take a look at that, I mean, pretty much all of Africa, and then the Middle East area, and then all of Asia, basically, and Russia and all that, except for there's this one little tiny red spot. I don't know what country is this, if you notice. If you notice here, see if I can zoom in on it. Right about there, you can kind of see like a little red spot. What is that on the map? Is that Taiwan? Yeah, that is Taiwan, I think. That is Taiwan because it's next to China. So you have that. So that's it. So that's it. So that's very very interesting, isn't it? And there very much is. So when we think about that, we have more laws here in place for same-sex marriage or LGBT or anti-discrimination laws in the United States than there are in half of the world. Technically, probably more than half the world, because if you factor in India and China, that is a huge population right there, and they don't have same-sex marriage there. So, United States would probably be, I think maybe like, is that like the third most popular, populated country after, China and India? So, yeah, the fact that people have rules and laws in place. Now, of course, we don't want to see those taken away, because to me, when I think about it, it's like, what is the purpose of taking gay marriage away? I don't see what the purpose could be. I don't understand why you just can't marry whoever it is that you choose to marry, as long as you are two consenting adults that are not in the same family and you are human beings and not like animals or robots or AI or, blow up dolls or whatever, because, yeah, people marry inanimate things. I want to say, I remember something. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I remember that there was something I read about people marrying. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the donation, Nadia. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Let's say, so Nadia says, hence why I filed 2 CDMX before Inog Day, Berlin now. Okay. So if you're doing your best to bring awareness and to combat any sort of laws that are going to take some of your rights away, because we have to really factor in what is considered a right that you have that is in the realm of things that are considered, I don't want to necessarily say normal, but should be something that you should be allowed to do, versus something that it's kind of on the fence and a bit more iffy. So, from my personal standpoint, I would say if you're an adult, you should be able to, live how you wish to live, as long as you're not harming anyone else or yourself. Now, of course, the argument is made by some people, for example, against trans individuals, such as myself, that I am doing self-harm to my body by taking hormones or getting surgery or things along those lines. I understand. So it is a very interesting thing when you actually think about it, because what really is the case then? Because how are you going to convince other people who have that type of mindset that this is something that can make you happier, but it depends on the person? Because I have met plenty of people who, they're very hesitant to transition because they don't know if it will make them happy, or they try to transition and they're not really all that happy with the transition, or it's not bringing them happiness, and they just keep seeking validation by getting all these surgeries. For example, if you've watched some other people online who have gone through a transition where they document taking hormones, getting surgery, they just keep getting surgery after surgery after surgery, almost as if they are addicted to it. They cannot really be happy with themselves, because if you're a trans individual such as myself, there are things that you cannot change about yourself. You just have to accept them. And that's something that I have been able to do over the years. Be able to accept myself and not be so bogged down with how I look, how I'm perceived, things about myself that could give away that I was not actually born as a female. Like maybe it's like, oh, I'm very tall. That can give it away, sure. I have broad shoulders. Or some people may say, I have a more masculine looking, chin and jaw line, or things along those lines. Or maybe my hips are not, super wide or anything. So just things like that. You can't really change those things about yourself. Some of them you can, but I got to a point where I was just going to accept myself and not really focus too much on those negative things. So when I did that, I didn't really care as much. I don't really look at myself in that negative light anymore because I used to. So that's something to be mindful of and be aware of. Now I am behind on some of these comments here, but let me read over some of them. Let's see. Given the amount of prejudiced comments on social media, I'd have to say no if you think LGBT people are safe in the U.S. Claire, great to have you here. Anyone else that I missed? Let's see. Claire, we had Nadia. Great to have you here. Okay, so Claire says, I don't think about our LGBT because we get attacked for having an opinion on our own safety. So here's you actually bring up a really good, interesting point there, because to me, my whole transition, people don't need to know about it. Because for me, I am someone who is, fortunately, I'm able to pass around other people. So people don't know when they see me. People don't know that I was actually a male. Now, some people, I guess, if they really study hard enough, maybe they can see it. Maybe they can tell, oh, you were actually born as a male. And they can figure it out. But, you know, I don't really care too much about that. I'm not worried about that, and that's not the majority of people. So I'm not the one here who's going to be stating for a public record for everyone to know on my personal accounts and in my daily life. Everyone has to know that I'm LGBT. No one needs to know that sort of information, so I don't tell people because it's none of their concern or business unless I become very close with them and I feel as though I'm going to open up with them. You know? So we saw that. We saw that 100 feet. Rooster catches everything. Oh, we just saw. Oh, we see some hearts in the chat. You know what that means, right? That's right. Boys, you guys are so silly. You guys are so silly. Anyway, so that's just my personal perspective on the matter, because there are people that I know who they're going to be very open on, like, if someone's using a dating app. Oh, we just saw some hearts again. So, I mean, let's eat them. Now, I heard some people say that they couldn't see those hearts for some reason. I don't know why, but hopefully you can see them now. Anyway, so I know people who I'm too full to eat anymore. I know people who have like a dating profile, and they put that they put their gender identity, or that they're trans or gay or whatever. Well, I mean, it makes sense if you're a gay to put that on there, because if you're a man, you're looking for other men. Okay, that's a little different. But if you're trans, it's like there is no need to do that until you're actually talking with someone else. You know, it's like, I don't know how people use those things anymore to begin with, because it's now just so superficial. You don't really get to know the person. But yeah, it's just basically just a look of who's the most attractive. But the thing is, I know people who put that information out there. I would never put that information out there for public knowledge, because I want to get to know the person first. And 99.9% of people don't even fit my criteria anyway. So it's kind of like, you know, I won't even bother to open up with them. So I think it's very important to, you don't have to be open about all those sorts of things unless you get close to someone, you know? 2 hearts per rat feet. Ooh, we like that. Yes, we do. That's right. Boys, you guys are so cute. Okay. Okay. Maggot says, it's just like so many rights are being stripped away. I'm noticing an increase in trans women queer hate on top of all of it. And it's so nerve-wracking and people being so open and proud of their bigotry. Certainly there are people who are very narcissistic, who are very open about that sort of thing. Yeah. You know, I've encountered so much hate over the years, I just tune it out at this point. I really do. I can say as an observer that LGBT rallies and protests get co-opted by another agenda such as Middle Eastern entanglement and abortion rights. I think the leaders of the LGBT groups need to stay in their lane, unfortunately, stick to the main agenda. You know, I very much agree with that because that's part of the reason why I would never really attend any more. I have attended like LGBT pride events before. I think like maybe like 1 or 2 or something. And I never will go again because it seems like it has all this other stuff in there that's not related to LGBT. Like, it's like, that's fine if you care about women's rights and abortion and everything, but what does that have to do with LGBT? Absolutely nothing. That is a women's rights issue. That has nothing to do with that. What you're doing is that you're trying to mix all these political ideas together that it draws people away. And so that's part of the reason why it's like I would not go to that sort of thing because I'm not interested in all that other stuff. Not only that, it seems like it's just become so sexualized over the years. So I can say this right now, it's like there are so many people I have seen message me and comment that look at me as some sort of fetish. And I don't like that. I want to be seen as a human being. I don't want to be seen as some sort of sexual fetish for some creepy man. Okay? That's not something that I like. We're just eating up all those hearts that you're putting in the chat. Right? You guys are so silly. Ooh, here they are here. We're going up, boys and ladies. They're going up. Now they're up on the they're up in the sky. They're up in the sky. And they're kind of like fading off into the distance. They're kind of fading off into the distance. Oh, there we go. Nice neck rest. Actually, I'm gonna use this rat. He's a little plumper for like a neck rest. There you go. What if I just came on here and just talked like this? I can't even see. I can't even see. Anyway, so I find that to be a major problem. When you put your information out there, creepy men who view you as a fetish are going to come over to you. I don't want that. I don't like that. Okay? Because it's like if I'm going to be with someone, they are not going to view me as some creepy fetish because that is such disgusting nastiness. I don't want to be around it. I don't care for it. I don't like it. Okay, so I'm just kind of like, no, I'm good. I'm good. All right. It's like we all have to stick together and protect one another, though. You see someone in need of help and you help them. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. See, by that argument, no one should ever bother transitioning. More sublently is required at minimum. Yeah, you know, I wish people didn't have to transition in order to be happy, but that's not, you know, it's not how it is most of the time. It's really not. You know, because it's like, I would have loved to have not have gone through all this process and change just to be happy with who I was or figure out who I was, but that's what I felt as though I had to do. but there's going to be health challenges, there's going to be health risks involved, and that's a major problem. It really is. So, yeah, unfortunately, that is the sad reality of being a trans individual. It really is. You have to factor in the negative things. So yeah, there's definitely is plenty of discrimination depending on where you live. Some places are going to be more accepting than other places. But I think the biggest thing that has happened is that a lot of this has become too political. It should not have ever been political. But what happens is that politics get involved and they exploit the people. And then the people start blaming one another instead of pointing the blame to the politicians in general that have caused the division. So instead of saying that you don't like someone else because they're transphobic or that they don't believe in LGBT and whatever, turn the blame to the actual people who have politicized LGBT to begin with. Both the Democrats and Republicans are both guilty of this. So you can't just point the blame at one and say, you're discriminatory. No, you have to point the blame at the other one for going so far to the point that the pendulum swings back, you know? So you have to be able to look at both and see what they've both done wrong that have just been so horrible for LGBT people. Wherever a politician can exploit and lie and manipulate people to basically put them against one another, they will do that, which is exactly what has happened in the LGBT scenario. So, it's a shame. It's a shame. Now, I would say, here's the interesting thing. So, if we take a look at some of the things that have just happened this year even. So a lot of people have said, even just over the years, it's like, oh, don't you know all of the laws that are trying to erase LGBT people and everything? Certainly there may be some depending on where you live. But if you look at a lot of these laws, they're usually aimed at children. Stopping kids from transitioning without parental consent. I am all for that personally because I don't think a kid should be transitioning without any sort of parental consent. In addition, the main issue is with a child transitioning is that I think about this in terms of my own life, of challenges that I face with my own transition, the hormones, the surgery complications and problems years after. How can a child know? How can a child know that they actually are? How can a child really think about the long-term consequences of taking hormones and surgery? A child cannot. Even in my early 20s, I wasn't thinking long-term, and it wasn't presented to me. It didn't say to me that, oh, you're going to need to take these hormones for the rest of your life. You're going to have health complications that are going to occur by taking these hormones. These hormones are going to cause these sort of problems for you. Because the thing is, everyone's body's different. The type of problems that most people may have from them, I don't have. I have completely different problems. I have problems that most people have probably never even heard of or even related to hormones. But I have direct evidence of it contributing to problems that I have personally had. So, it's interesting. It's interesting. Let's see, I've been trying to find someone for the last 6+ months. It's hard to find someone genuine, especially online. Absolutely. Absolutely. Or just in general. I mean, I feel as though most people are not genuine. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The question is, do ordinary people feel safe around LGBT community, not the other way around? I have been around gay people, and some of the things they get up to is creepy. No, you're absolutely right. Anyone can be creepy. I've met plenty of creepy people. You're absolutely right. It's just about finding the right person. Because guess what? I'm not creepy. I'm not a creepy person. I'm not here doing creepy, weird things, but there are certainly plenty of people who would do. Absolutely. And there are plenty of people who are not LGBT who would do creepy, weird stuff. Okay, so yeah, you just have to find the right sort of people. I say the comment was made in response to the notion that further trans surgery should not be pursued. Yeah, it all depends on, you really have to think about, because I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to get facial feminization surgery because I don't like my face, but then I'm like, I'm just going to learn to accept it. So then I didn't bother with it. It's like, no. No kid is transitioning without parental consent, though. I would disagree with that. It's not necessarily that they're transitioning, it's that it could be a social transition where the school calls the kid by their preferred pronouns or a name. Or if the parents do not affirm the child's gender, that can be considered abuse and the child can be taken away. So these are things that usually happen. I want to say, I know California has certainly passed some sort of law regarding that, where you can have children taken away if you do not affirm them, if you do not call them by their correct pronouns. So I'm not sure all the other states, but I know that is certainly one of them that has done that. So here's the other interesting thing. So if we're thinking about LGBT rules and laws and everything, and what has happened just this year. So this is something that I've heard on numerous occasions, which doesn't really make much sense to me, but if you are a trans person, and it doesn't matter if all of your documents have been changed over, if you were to get a passport, it's going to reflect what your birth sex was. So if I were to get a passport, despite the fact that my name is a female name, my driver's license says female, my birth certificate says female, everything about me says female. My passport would say male on it. So it's like, huh. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to do that because guess what? That's not right. That is not right. If everything else shows that. And it makes me wonder also, it's like, okay, if I were to renew my driver's license, would it then reflect male? Probably not, because that would be on a state level. Driver's license are on a state level, so I think it depends on your state, but a passport is more of like a federal thing. So it goes through with that. So I certainly have a major problem with, because how, if I pass as a female and here I am presenting a male thing with presenting as a female, it's going to cause more confusion. It's like, this doesn't seem right. This does not seem right. This doesn't make sense. If I'm presenting that, if I'm traveling somewhere. Not only that, if I were to travel to some place that isn't as friendly or open to LGBT people, that can be a major issue and cause for concern. If I'm traveling to a different country that does not, support as much, LGBT, or is not as, there aren't as many laws to protect against discrimination, then right off the bat, they're going to a no, and they should not, these people should not know that information. So this is a major issue, I think, and this has only happened, I would say, was it an executive order? I think that was one of the first that was signed back in like January or something. So I don't agree with that whatsoever. That does not make any sort of sense to me that is what it would be. So yeah, it's just that is just a problem for sure. Okay. These doctors haven't walked in their victims' shoes. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because doctors, at least from my experience with some of them, they're often very dismissive. They don't really think. They're not really acknowledging your problems. They're not really thinking about the problems that you have and how they're related to the medication or other problems, things that you have going on. So you are a decent person. Well, thank you. Hopefully I am more than just decent. Oh, look how cute. Look how cute. So what can you ultimately do about if you feel as though you're being discriminated against, or you feel as though things are not really in your favor when it comes to being LGBT? A lot of times this has to do with you stop stressing out about a lot of this stuff by stop paying attention to all of the negative things. Okay? Because when you're constantly focused on all the negative things all the time, then you begin to see things that are not really the truth of the matter, or you begin to see that the entire world is out to get you, which I personally do not believe. So it's something that you have to rationalize within your mind and stop focusing on all the negative things. See the positive things. Positive thing being, if you live here in the United States, you have more protection and laws that are in your favor than you do for the other half of the map. Okay? Like if we looked at that map again. Let's pull this map up again. This is just same-sex marriage at least, okay? As you can see. As you can see here, let me do this. So I realize it's a same-sex marriage, but you have to factor in, if it's same-sex marriage, it probably also applies to trans-related issues, if not it being a little bit worse than this. So if we just take a look at the map, half of the world is accommodating and accepting. The other half, not so much. Okay? So you have to be thankful for being able to just live in a country that is supportive of you. Even if things may not be 100% or to your liking, or things may be changing a little bit, you still have to look at the positive, like you have some sort of protection. Plain and simple. Of course, why don't you go ahead and move over to any part of Africa or Middle Eastern countries, you know, that's like really, really bad. Go ahead and move over to a Middle Eastern country, see how you're treated there. You won't be treated well. I'll tell you that much. Or why don't you go over move over to Russia or China or any of the other Asian countries over there? Certainly things may not be as bad in some of those Asian countries as opposed to like the Middle Eastern countries. But hey, guess what? You're in the United States. Some of you, not all of you, or your European countries are also accepting. You know, so you have to think about that. So. Another thing you can do is if you feel as though you're being treated in an unequal manner, you have to be able to make your voice heard. Be able to speak your mind about problems that you think are a problem. Open up about what you believe. You know, you can make videos. You can do a protest that is reasonable. You know, that is a non-destructive, non-fiery protest, you know, none of that type of crap. We want something that is going to get people's attention and allow people to do so in a peaceful manner. And the last thing really is that you shouldn't be afraid or fearful of these things that may or may not happen. Do I fear for my life and safety, like my things are going to be taken away from me? I do not feel that way. You know why? Because I choose to not focus on all of those negative things that are going to bring me down. I really do not focus on those negative things. Instead, I focus more on positive things that are going to be beneficial and helpful to me, that are going to bring me into a more positive space. So why should I focus on those negative things? That is my personal take on the matter. Okay? Okay, let's see. Decent to me means moral, upstanding, and having a balanced view of life. Good, thank you, I appreciate that. Ireland has gone liberal mad over here. That can be a bad thing also. You're absolutely right. That's what you got to factor in. Extreme on both sides are equally as bad. You can have extreme conservative, which is not good, it is bad, or extreme liberal, which is also not good and also bad. So you have to be able to just think about that and realize I don't focus myself on any of those things. I don't. What I do is I'm looking at the bigger picture here. I'm looking at both sides. And where I stand is kind of like in the middle. I don't take a side when it comes to these sorts of things. I have my own beliefs and ideas on things. But I'm not someone who is going to be so in a panic that things are going to be really, really bad, because I mentioned some of the things that are bad. Okay, it's like if I want to get a passport and go to a different country, for example, or go to just fly anywhere, that is a major problem. That's a major problem. Because if it's going to say mail, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not. So that literally takes away my ability to go somewhere that I may want to go. It's very interesting. It really is. So, yeah. But, you know, I'm just like waiting it out because surely, you know, next president gets in, they can just executive order it away. You know, that is the problem with some of these executive order things. Like, oh, look, you put it into place. It's in place for 4 years. The next person swaps it out and gets rid of them. You know? That's how it is. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. We are now done our tea. Our tea is now done. So hopefully you enjoyed my LGBTQIA+++ background. We sure did, boys and ladies. Yes, we did. Boys, should we get one last set of hearts for you to eat? Okay. Nom 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 nom. Tasty. That's right, boys. That's right. That's right. Can trans surgeries cause autoimmune conditions? I think so, yes. Any sort of surgery can cause long-term problems. I would say with, you know, specifically when you say trans surgeries, that's specifically say genital surgery, because you're removing your reproductive organs or changing them in a way that is very unnatural. Or not necessarily unnatural if you're thinking of even just taking out your reproductive glands. So you don't like testicles or your, you know, ovaries and everything. Take those out so you're not able to reproduce anymore. That can have complications. That can have problems. Because you're not getting natural hormones anymore. You have to now supplement hormones. So, hearts for all rats, yes. Rats love the hearts. That's right. Any thoughts on vitamin D3 and K2? Yes, I have. I have talked about vitamin D3 and K2 and how important it is to bone health and everything. So I certainly recommend taking vitamin D with vitamin K. Very helpful. Now before we close it off, I think it's very important. We're going to draw our one card of the week today. What card is going to represent this coming week? I think the past week was about sorting out your schedule and just making making time for certain things or just doing things in like a proper schedule or order or something. So we're going to draw a card and see what we get to see what the theme is. Balance. That was the correct word. Yes, a balance. You're absolutely right. That was the theme of the past 2 weeks. Let's see what the theme is of this coming. We saw some more hearts, boys and ladies. Any second now they're going to come up. Oh, there. We love the delicious blood of hearts. So our card is 9 of Cups. Huh? Why? How did that just happen? How did that just happen? Did you see that? How did that? What? Is it what they said? 9 of Cups. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. How did that how did I want to know how that happened. How did that happen? Look, you saw me. I didn't press anything. I didn't press anything because I was holding the card and then it did thumbs up. Thumbs up. 9 of Cups. Hey, look. 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups. Thumbs up? Up? No? I have no idea. I thought maybe it was like thumbs up. Similar to that. Thumbs up? Yes? There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, so that is what it is. Thumbs down. Is it going to do it? No. But this one it does. That one it does. It does that. But it won't. There it is. There it is. Well, how do we make all the hearts come up then? I gotta figure that out. Hearts. Hearts? Huh. AI works when it wants to. Warning sign 101. Yeah, I don't know how to get a hearts up, but anyway, so we figured out the thumbs up and thumbs down. Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to get hearts. Or like the rain. Remember, it can also rain on me too? I don't know. I was thinking like this. No, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, so let's see what this card has for us this coming week here. The 9 of Cups. Let's look in our trusty tarot book. I know someone was asking about the tarot cards. Here it is. Easy Tarot Handbook. 9 of Cups. Let's see what we have here. So the 9 of Cups says, it's one of the most promising of the tarot and is sometimes referred to as the wish card. So make a wish, signifying the achievement of an important desire that brings you fulfillment. So think of something that you wish to succeed with, that you wish to have. Maybe you can bring it into your reality. It can represent emotional and material fulfillment, abundance, and also sensual pleasures. It indicates you will feel well pleased. So, think of some things that you wish to bring about in your life, because this is your wish, and I give that a thumbs up. I said I give that a thumbs up. Thank you. Okay. So, that is the card of the week. Make a wish, and it might just come true. I have wishes to have fulfilled, and you can make them feel fulfilled. So just think about that. Okay? Folks, I would like to thank you all so very much for tuning in to our LGBTQIA plus friendly stream today. I love that. That's funny. We will not be live next Sunday. Next Sunday is Easter. So I will not be live on Sunday. So, sorry. If you don't celebrate Easter, then oh well, sorry. Too bad. I will not be here. Okay. Zainab, great to have you here. I'm struggling with severe depression at the moment due to instability for trans people in Europe and Africa. Well, I'm very, very sorry to hear that. I really hope that the main thing you can do is begin focusing a lot on what you can do to make a positive impact. And then begin to change some things. So, oh, see, look. You know, people say, hold on. You know, we have here, give me just a moment, folks. Just a moment. So look, we have this cute little bunny here. Okay. Here he is. He's nice and, there we go. Make him nice and pixelated. And you know what bunnies do, right? Bunnies lay eggs, okay? You may not have known this, but bunnies do indeed lay eggs. Okay? They do. Here's proof right here. Look, see the bunny right here? This bunny here. He's sitting on eggs, ready to have him hatch. There. Okay? Bunnies lay eggs. They may not make a nest the way that this looks like, okay? But the bunnies still lay eggs. So always remember that. Whenever someone tells you, do bunnies lay eggs? The answer is always yes, okay? They lay eggs, as you can see. Anyway, folks, I need to head off here now. I want to thank you all so very much for tuning into this broadcast today. I will see you again in 2 weeks, okay? 2 weeks. Apparently, this means balloons. Does this mean anything? So, this means balloons? Huh? Yeah. That means balloons. Okay, well, we're celebrating. What about this? How is this balloons? I don't know. I'm curious about all these. Let's see. Okay, so we figured out 3. 3 out of, I think it's 8. We figured out thumbs up, thumbs down, and balloons. There's 5 left. We got to figure them out. I'm probably just going to search them up because I have no idea. But anyway, I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. I will see you all again in 2 weeks. So you all take care. Have a great one. Is this anything? No? Okay. Bye. Oh! We figured out another one! Okay. Bye-bye.